literally been lazy, been trying to write, and then got sucked into season 3 of Chef's Table on Netflix.
Geeks Speak, the definitive 365 cut. These are the meaningless ramblings of a Scottish redone whore and a pissy ex-video store clerk. Their ongoing mission is to set right the movie wrongs. They're gonna need a bigger podcast.
Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of the 365 Flicks podcast. This is episode 65 and this is Indie Talk.
Indie Talk is back.
I am Kev, your pissy ex-video store clerk.
And I am Scott. I'm not Scott.
You are the Scottish redone whore.
Yeah, fuck that up.
I'm not editing that.
Oh, damn it.
Tell the good people, because you can't tell them who you are, who we are speaking to tonight.
I am Chris, the Scottish redone whore.
Well done.
You tell the good people who we're speaking to tonight.
So yes, tonight we are speaking to another one that I pursued. Actually, I didn't really pursue him. Basically, the last Indie Talk that we had, we were speaking to Tom Patton, the founder and owner of the film label, who made Pandorica and currently has Redwood, which is coming soon.
Can't wait to see that.
They are actually getting closer to a release date. He's still not giving me the inside scoop on it, but we'll get there. But I mentioned to him afterwards, after the interview last time, if maybe he knew anybody who would fancy coming on, and any films that I should be checking out, any directors I should be looking into, and he threw Corrie Greenop's name out there, and he was kind of like, you need to speak to this guy because he's all sorts of awesome.
And a damn good call it was.
It was. I had a really good time talking to Corrie, because obviously we've already done it, but I had a really good time talking to him, and he gave us pretty good insight. Surprising insight.
It was surprising to me.
The stuff about the film school.
Yeah. What the fuck that
they do. We do seem to be getting that a lot. We do seem to be getting that a lot, but it's always quite surprising to hear it.
But we got a lot about, getting funding for movies, and sort of some of the bullshit that new filmmakers come up against, and
which you know what, that's shocking to hear.
Isn't
it? It is like, I know it's sort of we keep hearing it and we keep getting told about it, but it's like, come on, man! Surely somebody's having a good experience getting the funding, like the National Trust or the Scottish National, or somebody out there has got to be giving these people money. Like, and if they are, where are they? Come on, man.
Well,
we got it. Fred gave us a little bit of like sort of crappy news about that. Tom sort of enlightened us on that, and now Corey's telling us about it, and it's like, come on, man, just fund these people, help them make the movies. How are we supposed to? How is the British film institution supposed to get anywhere?
Well, I mean, that's the thing. How are you supposed to find, your next Christopher Nolan, the next Steven Spielberg, etc., etc., etc.?
Yeah, I know.
How are you supposed to find these people if you're not helping them along? But we will cover that in the episode coming up.
We will, and in the meantime, you've all been told. So
there you go.
So start throwing the doobs out at people, please. The shoop doobs.
You rich bastards.
But yeah, we are the 365 Flicks podcast. You can find us on the Facebook, you can find us on the Twitter, you can find us on the iTunes, you can find us anywhere you want. Any third-party podcasting app, Satchel, Stitcher, whatever. Just type in 365 Flicks podcast and you will find us. I recommend you listen to the Indie Talk shows for the interesting stuff, and then you listen to us drivel on the main shows just for a laugh.
Just getting drunk and having a laugh and swearing at each other.
And as you will find out, Corey always says, go to the pub.
Yeah. Good advice, if anything.
That is great advice.
I'm going to get that tattooed on myself.
Like, I was thinking about going to work tomorrow, but Corey's just told me, just go to the pub. So
go to the pub and you can make a movie.
I'm going to the pub and I'm going to make a movie and I'm going to get an actress from a popular TV show in my movie. I won't say anything because that's a spoiler, but I will get somebody in my movie because I went to the pub. Yep.
Life goals.
Life goals, yep. Squad goals. Hashtag squad goals.
Don't.
No, you're still not hashtagging?
I am not.
That's still not happening.
No.
Oh, okay. And yeah, we are on some awesome networks. We're on the Tangent Bound Network. We're on the Wicked Radio Network, ran by Big Sexy Dev and his big sexy hands. We are on the nerdly.co.uk. We are on Weeby Geeks and the hashtag Podden Family. Anyone else?
Dev's got Donald Trump hands, you know that, right?
What's Donald Trump hands?
Tiny.
Tiny
I can't
hands?
really speak, I've got tiny hands myself.
Has Donald Trump got tiny hands?
Allegedly.
Have you seen the memes, the tiny Trumps?
Yes.
They are great.
Yes,
they are
I have.
fantastic.
I have.
Like, people are like finding new innovative ways to take the piss out of this man.
Well, he makes it
every day.
very, very easy.
He
so,
does.
you know.
He does. China. He does. So the episode coming up, Corrie Greenop, the man who has directed a movie called Wandering Rose, also known as The Demon Baby.
Also known as Little Devil in the UK.
Also known as The Little Devil. Many other names. Don't judge a DVD cover, because it doesn't necessarily have a great deal to do with the film. But I will tell you now that I personally have watched the movie and it is 365 recommended. I loved it.
Yeah, you had a great time, didn't you? You had a great time watching it.
did,
I've not
yeah.
watched it yet, but I am, as I said, I'm going to say it in a minute.
Yep.
I'm going to download that through Sky Movies because it is on there right now.
Yep, it is on Sky Movies right now, so you can get it. And Corey's next movie, which is coming later this year in the spring, is Dark Beacon, which we're both looking forward to seeing as well.
Yep.
That's going to be a corker.
Well, we've seen the teaser trailer, and it's a teaser.
It is very much a teaser. That it does what it says on the tin. It's like Ron Seal. And yeah, he's got another movie coming out called, well, he's working on a movie called House Red, I think he called it. Which is about making wine out of people.
Yeah, spoilers.
That is crazy.
I'm up for that.
I'm up for it as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, listen to the episode.
Sweeney Todd bit with wine.
Exactly.
That's how he describes it.
No more pies. Yep.
Oh.
So listen to the episode. Listen to Corey tell us the crack about independent filmmaking. He was an absolute blast, and I cannot wait to speak to him again.
Uh-huh.
Hello, Rose. How are you feeling today? What can you remember about when this photograph was taken? Champagne with it?
Theo, I know you're excited, but please, for God's sake, don't get carried away with all of this. There's so many things that could go wrong at this stage of the pregnancy.
This isn't a campsite.
This is our very own campsite.
Are you joking? Why have you stopped here?
Very people I'm looking for.
I can never be too careful around here.
I thought I saw something in the road.
Theo, that's not funny.
What's happening to me?
Hey, don't worry. I'm not going anywhere, okay? I'm going to stay right here by your side. The baby's going to be just fine.
What baby?
So, hello and welcome to another episode of Indie Talk. Tonight we are joined by a friend of Tom Payton, of all people. This is an actor, writer, director, editor and producer, Corrie Greenop. Corrie, how are you doing tonight?
I'm very good, guys. How are you? Thanks for having me.
You're very, very welcome. Yeah, welcome to 365 Flicks.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Just glad to have you on so I can talk about this Demon Baby. Cause,
Yeah, Kev was telling me
Jesus.
all about Demon Baby on the way down in the car tonight.
Demon Baby.
No, that was a film.
It was a film. Well, according to some forums, it wasn't. It was a home movie, but you know.
Oh, shut up! Don't listen to them. we're the only ones that matter.
That exactly.
So yeah, basically, Corey has he's just wrapped. Is it your second feature film?
Second feature, that's correct.
Which is Dark Beacon, and we have a release date for that coming.
We're hoping spring 2017. So we're actually at Picture Lock at the moment, and it's going off to the composers. I think at the end of this week, hopefully. So we're nearly there. After a few months in the edit suite, we're slowly.
Yeah, I saw your pictures. I was keeping an eye on you, and I was seeing all your 72-hour editing session and.
Yeah, that is probably not highly recommended. That, but I don't know. We actually sat down with Tom from the film label, and we were like, let's just go through it, and yeah, literally became a few hours to literally having 72 hours with about 4 hours rest, which I'm sure wasn't healthy for anybody, and then 3 sweaty guys in a room for that amount of time either is probably not healthy.
Yeah, you must want to kill each other by the end of it.
Well, just kill each other, eat each other, or things to each other. It's it's one of those cabin fever things that can happen, and one of us is going to not leave the room alive.
Well, that's Dark Beacon, which we have a few questions, and we'll come to that in a little bit. But first of all, I watched Demon Baby the other night, and Demon Baby won numerous awards, so, big props for that.
Thank you very much.
And so, basically, that's kind of where I want to start with that. And so, for the listeners, can you give us your elevator pitch for this psychological thriller that is Demon Baby?
So, Demon Baby is about a young couple who go off to the Highlands of Scotland before the young girl gives birth to their first child. So they see it as an opportunity to go away, have some romantic time together before their lives are ruined by a small person coming into their world. But over the course of this weekend, things from the girl's past start to come back and haunt her, basically leading her on a downward spiral to just an awful, awful place.
I did really enjoy this kind of like this tense sort of psychological area that you were going into. But what was the thought process of having it in the Highlands?
It was basically the Highlands is somewhere where I've pretty much been on holiday for my entire life. Like my whole entire family are big like rock climbers, mountaineers, kind of extreme sports enthusiasts. So I used to do a lot of rock climbing when I was younger. I was actually I competed as a rock climber.
Nice.
And my background basically my background is music videos. I worked for Discovery Channel as a camera guy for a few years, and I'd always wanted to write a film. And actually in 2012 I had quite a severe rock climbing accident, and basically I wrecked my left knee and was bedridden for 3 months. Wow. So in those 3 months I was kind of like, right, well, you know what, I'm going to use this time and be productive, and I'm going to try and write a feature film, because if I don't do it in this amount of time that I've been given, or if I don't do something productive now, I never will have this time again. Mm-hmm. So it kind of turned this blessing in disguise type thing, where I was like, right, so started writing, and I started watching a whole load of horror films that I really love, and films that terrify me, and films that I'm passionate about, and, kind of thinking, okay, well, if I am going to write something, what am I going to write about? So I came up with these two characters, and then obviously, like any good low-budget horror film, they need to be in some cool location. And I remember it was probably about a month and a half into me being kind of bedridden, my parents decided to take me on a camper van holiday up to the Cairngorms. It was nice. A trip. And they were like, you can just sit and, drink some whiskey out in the, in the wilderness, and, you don't have to come, obviously, rock climbing or anything, but, it'd be good to get you out of the house type thing. And I just remember one evening, we were in the camper van, and we were up on this car park called Corrie Car Park in Aviemore, and the weather was just absolutely atrocious, like battering the van to pieces, absolutely shaking. And whilst I was laying there wide awake, I kind of realised, actually, I'm really, really vulnerable right now. We're in this vast wilderness of the Cairngorms, beautiful place, and I'm terrified. I'm a 25-year-old guy, and I'm absolutely petrified, because obviously had all this, my leg was pretty much in traction, and I was like, if something wanted to get in here, then I wouldn't be able to do a lot about it. And I just thought that was a great kind of premise, that you can be in this great outdoors, and then, if you base something in a camper van, you suddenly become really, really, compact and exposed to nature. It's almost like that tin can theory, where you're in the van and you're totally isolated and trapped. So that was basically where I came up with the idea to set it in the Cairngorms. And obviously, as a low-budget filmmaker, I want to, really get as much out of my budget as I can. And I knew that showing off, the Cairngorms and Aviemore in its, utter stunningness, I thought that would obviously give me a higher production value than just shooting like any other low budget film in a house, or in a woodland somewhere.
Sure. Well, I mean, there is something very just special and atmospheric about the Highlands anyway, isn't there? I mean, I've got family up in Malig, so we used to go up there every year and on family holidays and what have you, and I love it up there. Absolutely love it up there.
Yes, it is stunning, and I mean, it was kind of great as well, because I kind of seen that my entire life had been one great big location scout for my first feature. So I knew every single location off by heart when I was writing scripts, and it just became really, really easy. If I wanted to set something like by a lake, there's Lochmorlich, I know there. There's a bothy, a mile up that road. Okay, we'll go there. So it all became, this year, these years of my life spent up there was kind of, this one big location recce.
Well, they do say, write what you know.
Well, that's very true. That's very true.
All the films I'm writing about currently are about women with PTSD and have guilt and stuff, so I don't really know what that says about
well, yes,
in my life or my love life. I don't know how great that is, but
I know I did say that, and then I thought, hang on.
yeah, right about what you know. Yeah, about a woman who goes crazy when she gets pregnant. Yeah, I know that so well.
I've got 3 kids. I know that really well. So
we've all seen it. We've all seen it.
So how much? I know it's a beautiful landscape. It's a beautiful sort of setting to have it in, and you knew all the locations and things like that. But how much of a pain in the ass was it to shoot, knowing like Scottish weather and things like that? How bad was it to shoot there, or did you just pick the right time of year?
Do you know what? I think we must have done something right to the film gods, because everyone was saying, you're going and shooting in Scotland for 2 weeks. You do realise it's just going to rain the entire time. And we literally got, I think the last day it rained. Every other day was absolutely stunning. So we got so lucky, because, in those kind of situations, I didn't have the money to be able to go back and do reshoots.
Yeah.
Most of the cast and crew were from London, to bring them all back up to Aviemore, it wasn't going to be possible. So we were so lucky. The worst thing were the midges.
Yeah.
They absolutely ate everybody alive. I think by the end of it, everyone, I think one of the behind-the-scenes photos is literally every single member of cast and crew with cigarettes in their mouth, just because the cigarette smoke seemed to get them the midges away. We didn't, so many of us didn't smoke, but we were all there with cigarettes just in our mouth to get these bloody midges out of our faces, but we all got eaten alive.
So it turned into the set of Mad Men all of a sudden.
Yeah. The whiskey was irrelevant, but we had.
Yeah. So you mentioned Corrie about the budget. Now, a couple of places that we've looked at had the budget around 20 to 30,000. Is that accurate?
Yeah, it literally cost for absolutely everything £26,000, and that included my tux rental and a place to sleep at Cannes Film Festival when I was trying to sell the film. So yeah, absolutely everything was under £30,000. So I think
that's amazing. How is that even possible?
Well, I think it was because I knew that. I mean, basically the way that I got finance for the film was I'd saved up for 10 years to put a deposit on a house, like any new filmmaker experiences, it's so difficult to get finance for your films that, when I'd written this script, no one would touch me, because I'd not even made a short film other than the ones that I'd made at university, which were, university quality short films.
Yeah.
So for me, I'd been saving up whilst I was throughout university and the subsequent years of leaving uni. So I'd managed to save up around £30,000. And it was kind of that moment in your life where you kind of go, right, okay, I'm going to take a massive risk here. I'm going to be homeless for the rest of my life, but I'll have tried to make a film. I mean, I had no expectations for the film at all. I just wanted to see if I could do it, and then kind of look back in 30, 40 years and go, do you know what? I had that opportunity. What if I hadn't have taken it? What if I'd gone down all the routes of my mates and I bought a house and done all that? I'd forever be regretting not wondering what would have happened. And obviously, we made our money back on Wandering Rose amazingly, and it's been able to get me finance for my next feature. So touch wood, at the moment it's paid off. But yeah, it was kind of all totally self-funded at that budget. And I think what was good about that is that I couldn't go to anybody for any other money. Like, I didn't, I've not got wealthy parents. I don't know, rich mates who could lend me a couple of grand here and there. So it was just, in terms of the planning of the film, I just had to be so careful, because I knew that we couldn't afford to go back and do anything else. And again, in post-production, me and my editor, we did everything. We basically learnt everything ourselves. We learned how to do, the colour grade, how to do a DCP, digital cinema package. We learned how to do Dolby 5.1 surround sound mix, all because we couldn't afford to pay people. So it was literally me and this guy, James Fuller. We shot it, we edited it, we produced it, I wrote it, directed. Just by doing as many jobs as possible, which can often hinder on a project. But it was, I had no choice. I had to learn how to do these things, and that's why I think we kept the budget down so much.
Well, I mean, that's a hell of a feather in your cap, then. To do that from scratch. That's incredible.
I struggle to build a shed.
I remember my brother saying, you want to make a film, you're the guy that will literally get 5 minutes through painting a wall and get bored and stop being able to do it. How are you actually going to be able to do this?
I'm with you there.
Yeah, I'm exactly the same. I get Yeah, it's something. But I think when you've got 25 grand's worth of your own money on the line, that gives you some kind of kick up the bum to say no. Actually,
squeaky,
that is a good point.
Squeaky bum time, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. It's like, look, everyone thinks you're a moron. You've got to at least pull something out the bag, otherwise they're just going to think you're the biggest loser on the planet.
So with that in mind, you didn't have much budget. You've had to fund the whole thing yourself. How exactly did you come across? I'm going to totally mess this up. It's Karina Birrell.
Karina Birrell, no, perfect.
I mean, to be honest, she won an award for Best Actress at a British Horror Festival, along with yourself, who won Best Director.
Yeah.
And Karina, she is fantastic in this film. She's a 2 out of force, really. How did she come about?
It was out of sheer luck that she turned up to the auditions. We literally just did a whole bunch of Casting Call Pro and Spotlight auditions. We did some in Leeds, where I'm from, and then we did some in London. And literally that was it from the audition. Then we met up with Dave, who would also audition, and just put them together, and they just seemed to have the best chemistry. But Karina was utterly. I think if it wasn't for her, then this film could have totally flopped. I think she made this film, and she's an absolute star. Absolutely, she was fantastic to work with. Just getting in. I won't give too many spoilers away because people can buy the DVD still.
Yeah,
but
of course.
getting into her walking into the lock at 5 a.m.
Oh, man.
Just totally up for that. We were like, do you want to wear a wetsuit underneath or a dry suit? She's just like, no, it'll give it away. And she used to swim for Scotland as well, but she's a proper tough Scottish lass, and she was just, did all her own stunts, running around, leaping, didn't complain once. She was just amazing, absolutely awesome.
I think, like you say, that scene you just said there, I was sitting there watching it, I'm thinking, this is Scotland, right?
It was 5 a.m. we shot that, because literally a couple of hours later, that literally becomes the busiest beach in Cairngorms. So we were running around like mad trying to do it. I was there holding the camera in just some swimwear, and I just remember walking into the water and the amount of stabilization we had to put in it, because my hands were shaking so much because that water was so cold. And I was just like, I just really wanted to get it in one take, because I was like, I really don't want to keep my actress or myself in this water for too long. She was just absolutely loving it. She was like swimming about, and I'm there literally about to pass out through hypothermia. And she's like, no, we'll do another. Can we do another? I'm like, are you sure? I think I've got it. That's fine. So she was fantastic, really, really great. But, I think things like that make these little films, those kind of, shots that stay in people's mind, I think, really do give the film the quality that it had for the budget that it had.
Definitely. I mean, I was taken aback by her, so, she did a great job and thoroughly deserves the award she won, and yourself for this movie.
Oh, thank you very much.
But that must have been pretty cool, winning your first Best Director award.
Yeah, it was pretty nuts. This was, another great thing about Karina, is that it was her idea. After we'd first showed her a screening, for me, it was always going to just be a calling card to go and take to producers and be like, okay, now I'll go make a better film. Yeah. This was my first attempt. And she was like, after seeing it, she was like, no, you've got to take it to Cannes. You've got to go and get a sales agent. You have to do it. And she was like so determined on doing it. She was like, no, come on, we'll go to Cannes. I'll go to meetings with you and stuff. And we kind of literally, in I think about 5 days, went to about 35 meetings with sales agents and distributors. And she was the same with the festivals. She was like, look, you should just... Because, again, this is the one thing film school doesn't really teach you, is, how to actually go out and sell your film and get the publicity to make that happen, I always tell people, I've got a degree in film, but, I say it might as well be getting, a degree in finger painting. It doesn't really to get into the industry or help you in that side of the industry. So she was like, no, get it in these festivals, try and get them into these, and so it was really her who was pushing on the festival side. So to actually win awards was a massive shock. Wasn't expecting it at all. It was absolutely incredible and really, really great night for all of us.
So at what point did it become real? Holy crap! I've won an award. It must have been pretty.
It was
mind blowing.
It was pretty weird. It was. I don't really know. I still, because you see so many filmmakers, and it's like every film has won awards. It's like award-winning producer, director, and I think, that is a lot of the problems with, calling yourself an award-winning filmmaker, because I think every single filmmaker I know has all won some kind of award, and it's still like, I'm an award winning. It's like if you win a BAFTA, it's like, you're still an award winning director, or you could have won, the little film festival down the road. You're still an award winning filmmaker. So those kind of accolades aren't really that important. I mean, it's fantastic that to win them and get nominated, but for me, it's more about actually making the film. And then I think the biggest shock for me, like the biggest moment where I was like, holy crap, this is amazing, was the moment when we got an email from a sales agent in LA saying Entertainment One wants to buy your film. I mean, for me, that was a bigger moment of going, oh my god, someone other than my mum wants and they literally want to put money towards it. So I think for me that was a bigger achievement than winning an award, was when you have kind of someone backing your film saying, yeah, we think that we can make money from this film, we're going to sell it to it's now been sold to 15 territories around the world. It's been dubbed in 5 languages, which is amazing. I love watching Thai and Korean. I think it's the German one's just been released. We just got given a copy of that, and it's those kind of things that I love. And then seeing like kids in America, like in Wyoming, like reviewing your film on YouTube and stuff, and it's like, this is crazy. Like I'm a lad from Leeds who made this low budget film, and it's now gone all over the world. So for me, that's the part I love the most, is seeing other people from around the world and watching your film. Even I think my mate sent me a video the other day of someone in the Philippines had illegally downloaded it. She'd taken a photo saying, this is my lunch break watching this film, and then put it on Instagram. And I was like, this is hilarious. Like that I kind of think is pretty cool. Like the fact that people that watch my film and then think, okay, this is worth me spending my time to upload it to uTorrent so people can watch it for free. Like I think that's quite cool. In a weird way, but I know it'd be obviously nicer if everyone bought the film, but I do think stuff like that's quite cool.
That was, in fact, before we moved on, that was to be the last question I was going to ask you, because as I was doing the notes and I was running through it and all that, and then it was like distributed through E1, like a giant like that, and I'm like, how the hell did that come about? And that is an achievement. That is a huge achievement.
For me that was the biggest moment. And then obviously watching the film now with the E1 logo coming up is the coolest thing ever. But I say to people, that's the best part of the film. Just watch the E1 logo come up. That's it. You can do whatever you want with the rest of your day. But it's great, that even companies like that will, give these kind of films a chance as well, rather than just going for, it's like these guys, made the Hunger Games and then they're buying my film, which I think is just nuts. But I think it's really cool that, companies like that do take a chance on these lower budget films as well.
I think I prefer that to the Hunger Games, though. So
very much. It made as much money as the Hunger Games, though. That would be very nice.
Yeah, it would be very nice. Let's talk about Dark Beacon.
Okay.
Obviously, we've only seen the teaser trailer so far, and let's be honest, it doesn't give a great deal away.
At all. Absolutely nothing away. No.
So again, like we did for Wandering Rose, Demon Baby, can you give us a little sort of rundown of what Dark Beacon is about?
Yep, it's about a woman who tracks down the love of her life to a distant lighthouse in the middle of nowhere, try and bring her back to civilization. And basically when she gets there, she sees that this woman that she's, totally in love with is beyond hope, and she's not savable. But what is savable is she's got a young daughter who is trapped in this mother. This mother's kind of almost got PTSD from grief after her husband tried to commit suicide with both of them after finding out about her infidelities. So the girl that comes to try and save her actually now must find a way to save the young girl from the madness of her mother and also this malignant spirit of her deceased father.
Wow. So a spiritual sequel then.
So it's kind of, and it's again about a woman who's lost her mind. So again, I'd love to know what psychologists want to think about my mind.
That's an interesting one.
Maybe my third one needs to another Edgar Wright's got his Cornetto trilogy. Maybe I've got my Mad Women trilogy.
You could maybe just throw a spanner in the works and just do a man with PTSD or something, and people.
There you go.
People will be like, "Nah, this isn't the same guy."
No, I think you need to stick with it and have a box set, the Mad Women trilogy.
No, I think. I can see that on HMV shelves, definitely.
Oh, definitely.
That's sellable. That's definitely sellable.
It is sellable.
So basically, you've swapped the Highlands of Scotland for an abandoned lighthouse on the island of Jersey, was it?
Jersey, that's correct.
Yeah.
I mean, originally we were wanting to there's an amazing, where I actually got all my ideas for films come from locations, and there was actually a fantastic lighthouse on the Isle of Skye, so again in the Highlands of Scotland. And we spoke to the Highlands Commission of Scotland because they helped us out with a lot of locations for Wandering Rose, or Demon Baby as it's now called. And they were like, oh yeah, you want to film there, the lighthouse, it's Nice Point Lighthouse? Yeah, not a problem. That'll cost you £7,000 a day. And I was like, hold on, I just made a film for 25 grand and now you're wanting to charge me £7,000. And we were like looking to shoot there for like 3 weeks.
Oh.
So I was kind of like, I'd written this script around this lighthouse and I was like, oh my God, I'm never going to be able to find a lighthouse like it. And luckily my co-writer, Lee, who wrote Dark Beacon with me, is also my co-producer. He's got family in Jersey and he was there not last Christmas, but the Christmas before, and I remember just on Christmas Day, him sending me a load of these photos of the lighthouse, and he's like, we're back on, we found a lighthouse. I was like, oh, this is fantastic. So I flew out to Jersey and met with the Jersey Film Board, and we didn't tell them how much the Isle of Skye one was charging us, but we were like, we've got a bit of money for locations, and he was like, oh, no, it's Jeff. I know Jeff. No, we'll do it for free. Yeah, there won't be a cost. And it was like, as we were filming in Jersey and sorting out locations, it turned out that that's literally what it was like. Because Jersey is this tax haven where everyone's so wealthy, it's basically like, he's like, yeah, go for a pub, go for a drink with Jeff, and if he likes you, then he'll do it for free. And that was what we found, is with all our locations, that as long as, we couldn't bribe people, basically. We was just like, you just have to be friendly to them. And they're like, yeah, we do it. No, we don't mind. Yeah, just whatever. And it was like incredible. So this budget that we had for locations suddenly disintegrated because there was no location fees.
That's fantastic.
So lucky that they were just like, yeah, we'll open it up for you. The Coast Guard will need to know when you're on there, blah 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 blah. Yeah, the lighthouse has got a radar transmitter on, so if you're using your drone, we'll turn it off. And we're like, isn't that dangerous? It's like, well, no, if it's during the day, if we can see a boat, then it's fine. I was like, okay, this is interesting. But then we got told that it was literally the second most dangerous tide on the entire planet. Like, there's a crazy alarm that goes off on the lighthouse, and you have like 25 minutes when you've got to get off the island, otherwise you're trapped whilst the tide goes over the causeway. It's actually really, really, because we didn't realise that at the time, but then we've actually used the alarm in the film, and the whole causeway and being trapped just added this whole other dimension to the lighthouse and being isolated and trapped. So it was actually really, really cool to shoot that.
So the actors actually were literally shitting themselves.
They were, because we'd written this whole finale on this causeway, and then it was suddenly like, actually, we've got like 20 minutes to do it. Like, health and safety guys were going absolutely nuts. Like, the Coast Guard, like, we wanted this chase scene and the water coming in and everyone, wading in, and they're like, no, there cannot be anything on there. So me and Lee, the co-writer, were like, right, let's try and do this in the most safe way possible so we don't kill any of our actors. Literally, whilst we were there for the 3 weeks we were filming, 2 people actually did die. Not on our film set, but died around in Jersey because of the tides. So it wasn't, they weren't like saying it to be like overly health and safety.
Yeah.
It literally was crazy, crazy dangerous. So that was quite interesting. But I think it added to the fear in the actors, and when they heard that alarm go off, it kind of definitely speeded the crew up when we were wanting to go home. They quickly got on, otherwise they'd spend the next 6 hours on a remote lighthouse. So that kind of helped in a way.
That sounds like a horror movie in itself.
It does.
Really?
It does.
That was it. We were kind of saying, well, if we get trapped, let's just all get these night vision cameras and do our own. It's obviously Germany. The Nazis occupied Jersey during World War II. So there's all these crazy World War II bunkers, and actually the other side of the lighthouse, there's all these really old remains of these bunkers, and it's like, I reckon you could do like a weird kind of most haunted spin-off on the Isle of Jersey about World War II anyway. So thought that'd be quite cool if we did get stranded, we'd just go guerrilla mode and shoot another film while we're there.
I would watch that. I would watch
I
that.
know you would.
Yeah.
That's a real shame about the tourist board in Scotland, though. That's not the first time we've heard that, is it? Another indie talk that we did. The guy who I think he's actually trying to film now, right at the moment. It's Fred Arrowsmith. And he was told he tried to get a location in Scotland. I forget where it was, but yeah, he was told the same thing.
No.
And he explained, he's in the same situation as you, Corrie, that I'm trying to make a movie here, but I don't have the budget for that. And they said, well, tough. We had such and such fantasy movie filming here last year. Pay up.
That's exactly what they said to us.
That's not the way to go about it, is it?
It's not. It's disgusting. Well, yeah, you don't like hearing that.
It's just so frustrating because, I mean, there's so many film boards. Like the BFI do. I mean, I do a lot of guest speaking at universities now and at film festivals. And, you get companies like the BFI saying you should never, ever invest your own money in film. And it's like, well, why? Because you don't give new filmmakers a chance. You want a sure thing.
Yeah.
It's like my local film board in Leeds was Screen Yorkshire. Again, they came into our university and were like, we want to champion Yorkshire filmmakers. You guys at the Northern Film School, you're at the very heart of where we want to put in all our creative hubs, and we want to help you. So I was like, this is fantastic. Born and bred in Leeds, went to the Northern Film School. So I went to Screen Yorkshire and were like, can you help me out? And they're like, no. I think so. And it's so frustrating because it's like, look, you don't talk the talk and then not walk the walk. If you are going to help people, help. And like the BFI saying you should never invest in film, it's like, well, I would have never made a film.
Yeah.
No one was going to give me that opportunity or chance. So I had to invest in there. And then it's like, even with Dark Beacon, the money I actually made from Wandering Rose, I put straight back into Dark Beacon because I'm thinking, okay, well, I want to keep investing in myself because I think, if you do any other kind of work, you do invest in yourself, you invest in the tools. If you're a writer, you buy Final Draft. If you're, anything, any you're a workman, you buy the tools required for the job. So for me as a filmmaker, well, I'm going to invest in my tools and make films to show people and showcase what I'm capable of doing. So I think I'll always do that, and I'll always champion, look, just go out and make it. Don't wait for funding to come in. Don't do it because you have to jump through so many hoops as well to get these kind of fundings.
Yeah.
And they just don't, they very, very rarely, I don't know a single person who's had any kind of funding from any of these governing bodies that say that they're there to help young people, and certainly first-time filmmakers. I'd say just go out and make a film, with whatever resources you have. We shot Wandering Rose on a Lumix GH2, a £500 camera. We didn't shoot it on anything other than that. We bought a whole load of World War II lenses on eBay and then resold them again. We hacked the firmware on it to up the bit rate. So there's ways of getting around these problems if you can find cool solutions to them. And I love the fact we shot our first feature with a whole lot of World War II lenses. I think stuff like that's really cool. And then one day when you do get the budget, shoot on an Alexa or a Red. Obviously they are amazing cameras, but don't let technology and don't let finance stumble you in you wanting to go off and create and tell your stories.
Well, to think Wandering Rose turned out the way it did on like you say, World War II cameras, that's brilliant. I mean, the film, for me, I thought it looked gorgeous, so...
Thank you very much.
I thought it did.
That's a pretty cool thing to be able to say as well, isn't it? The whole thing
you love all the World War II stuff cameras as well.
Yeah, no, I like that. I like it. But it's, they've got some pretty fast glass. Those old World War II Micro Four Thirds lenses. They are pretty sweet.
Yeah,
and really, really cheap as well. So we just basically said, well, what can we get? Let's have a look at the budget and let's see. And I'd actually been shooting a documentary in Kenya, and I tried the GH2 for the first time and totally fell in love with it. We were looking at the Black Magic cameras had just come out at that time, the 5Ds, and it was like, well, actually, if we've got one of these cameras, why not use it? Why spend more money on something that we don't have when this camera here is giving me this really cool, earthy-looking feeling that I have on my film? Why would I want anything other than that? So yeah.
So as well as the jump in budget, because obviously you put more money back into it from your last movie, you also, and this is going to sound really bad saying this, it's not so much a jump in talent, because Karina I thought was excellent, but in Dark Beacon you have April Pearson, she was in Skins, and she was in another fantastic British movie, Tormented.
That's correct, yeah, she was, yeah.
So how did April come about?
It was actually a very last minute thing. We'd actually had regular castings again, like we did for Wandering Rose, for this, and for the role that she was playing for the role of Amy, we were just really, really struggling to find someone that we really thought fitted into this character. And we were literally out in London with a producer friend of ours, and she'd just done a film with April, and she said, well, hold on, do you want me to send the script to her? Because you never know, if she's free, she might, be up for doing it. So we literally went and sent the script to April, and she got in touch saying, when are you shooting? I really, really love the script.
Nice.
Speak to my agent and all this stuff, and we made it happen through that. So it was literally through a producer friend who recommended her, because I obviously, growing up with Skins, I'd seen her in that, thinking that'd be amazing to get this girl from Skins in it, especially because this year's the 10th anniversary of Skins as well. Mm-hmm. So there's loads of publicity going on with her at the moment with that. So it's kind of all happened at a really good time. And again, she's absolutely fantastic in this film. Really, really incredible performance by her. So we just got very, very lucky. Just to think, if I hadn't gone out for a drink that night, we never would have got her. But no, it was great timing.
So there's a lesson for all budding filmmakers.
Yep, always go to the pub.
Always go to the pub.
So yeah, if anyone says go for a drink, always do it. Go for a beer.
Pretty much the big question is, when can we expect to see it?
Yeah, I mean, we're hoping for a spring release. Well, certainly we're taking it to Cannes Film Festival with the film label boys, and hopefully have a screening there. We're then going to try and do some kind of, I think the boys were talking, it'd be great to get some kind of small UK theatrical release on it, kind of after Cannes, kind of end of May time, and then hoping, that it gets picked up by a big distributor. Obviously, with E1 buying my first film, they're pretty keen to see what I've got next. So, and I know the film label boys have got some pretty cool meetings lined up, which I don't know how much I'm allowed to talk about, but it's all, I mean, hopefully in the next few upcoming months. Obviously, we're going to release the full trailer as well in the next few weeks.
That would be nice.
And we've got this fantastic artwork as well. This poster, a guy called Adam Raff, who did he did one of the Star Wars posters.
Oh, nice.
He's got this poster. I wish I could show it at the moment because it's absolutely incredible. I'm blown away by this this poster. So all this will be released in the next upcoming weeks, certainly before Cannes as well.
So obviously I was like I said earlier, I was checking the Twitter and the Facebook and everything last week when you were doing your editing session with Tom.
Yeah.
How did the film label come about? How did that sort of friendship come about?
Again, this goes back to always go for a drink.
Yeah.
We were at Cannes Film Festival last May, and basically me and Lee, who's my co-producer on Dark Beacon, what we thought of doing is, instead of Cannes, if you've ever been to Cannes, it's such a weird place in that you're always trying to go to the parties and meet the right people, investors, producers. So you're always going around, ringing around with business cards, trying to sneak into parties and then getting rejected and looking like an idiot, or just handing a business card to someone that is never going to, contact you. So what we decided to do is have our own villa party. So with the money, again, some of the money that we'd saved from the profits from Wandering Rose, we booked a villa and DJ and lights and music and stuff and alcohol for people, and decided to have our own Cannes villa party. Mm-hmm. But instead of going around to all these people, if we invite them all to our party, then they're going to see us, they're going to see that we're not like a two-bit company, our branding's going to be everywhere, and we can actually pitch to them at our own villa, and they're going to take us seriously. So we literally did that, but the way that we met the film label boys is that we were at a party, I think the night before, and me being a northern Yorkshire idiot who couldn't handle my beer, we were at a bar at like 2 a.m. called Petit Majestique, and I saw Tom drinking with some guys, and I actually recognised him I'd been to a screening of his first film, Pandorica.
Yeah.
And I walked over to him, and as I walked over, I stumbled over, totally spilled all their drinks, the desk went flying, I fell on the floor, and he picked me up, and I just started chatting to him from there, and invited him to the villa party, and he turned up to the villa party, and when I was a lot more sober, just started chatting to him about his company, and the way that they see the film industry going in general, and how they went about, selling and marketing Pandorica. I thought this was a really, really cool and new way of marketing films and actually getting films out there to the people that want to see them. So I was basically like, look, if you let me send you guys the script for Dark Beacon, if you guys are looking to attach directors to things, or, you're looking for directors to sign on to the film label, I'd love this opportunity. So I sent them my first feature and Dark Beacon, And then, Nick and Tom and George said, great, we'd like to sign you up to the film label.
Nice.
And that was it. So, again, always go for drinks, but don't get too crazy drunk. Could have gone either way, I think if I'd have, done something even worse than it.
I don't know, I'm pretty sure I heard almost the same story from George Lucas about Steven Spielberg.
Oh, really? Well, that's a good caliber. I'll take that then.
But so you're now attached with the film label in your way, but you have your own production company, which is Green 13 Productions.
That's right, Green 13 Films.
Which you're the founder of, along with other writer, producers, and directors.
That's correct. Yeah.
So how cool is that, having your own little production company?
Well, I mean, again, it was for me. I mean, anyone can set up a production company and call themselves a production company. Again, it was giving myself better opportunity to go out and speak, rather than it just being, hi, it's me, I'm Corrie Greenop. It's, if I have at least a company behind, at the end of the day, the Green 13 is just me and Lee, my co-producer and co-writer, but because it sounds like a big company, and the way that we branded ourselves in Cannes, like we took out like 100 baseball caps and gave people our free caps, and obviously the Villa Party, we actually got into a French magazine of having one of the top Villa parties in Cannes, incredibly.
Nice, yeah.
Just makes us seem like a bigger company, really. Obviously we have people working for us on a freelance basis, but I think it's just a way of doing the films that we want to do and having them under this one kind of label, where we can do that. So again, we take on scripts and read scripts. We've just taken on a fantastic guy called Andy Edwards, who made a film called Ibiza Undead, which is due for release, I think, on the 20th of March this year. We've just taken 2 of his scripts and optioned 2 of those because, being a company, we can do that. And now, we've got a group of financiers around us where we are able to do that. And, like the film label, we want to get, young filmmakers involved in us and, help the wider community of filmmakers. So again, it's rather than just being under me, it's just a bigger name for essentially. But,
that's really great though, isn't it? That you're giving young filmmakers the chance that you weren't given really when you started out.
Well, that is it. I think you have to do that. For any industry to survive, it's why apprenticeships are so important in any industry. And I think I've literally only just turned 30. I've made 2 feature films, but already I want to get young runners. The runner on my past 2 films has actually been my cousin. He's just really really passionate about film, and he wouldn't have been given the opportunity. I remember when I first started out, I was working on like DFS commercials and United Carpet and Bed commercials, and literally my job, I was the tea boy. I made the best cup of tea in Yorkshire by the time I was so many teas, but that was the way that I did it, and kind of worked up from there. And to be able to give young people who are enthusiastic about film the opportunity to actually work on a film set, I think is really really crucial and really important. For even getting into universities, to say that they've been involved and actually been on a film set, I think is really key, because again, film school didn't really teach me much. What taught me was actually being on set and being around creative, like-minded people. That was the best film school.
So when you say that the film school didn't really teach you much, so what did the film school actually teach you then?
How not to drink. How to I don't know. I think you can get many things out of film school. I think for me, what frustrated me about film school is that there's only so many times you can watch films like a Battleship Potemkin, and then it's like, right, well, give us kit, I want to go out and make film. And then just the way that they would go, like I was kind of hoping to go to film school and literally be able to go make as many films as I wanted all the time with their resource of kit, and it didn't work like that. And that really shocked me, in that we weren't just allowed to borrow equipment and go out and film. There was like so much protocol, and then you'd have to get the film school involved in what you were doing, and it was never a case of they never allowed you to say, go and make film, just go and do it, go, these are our resources, go and do it.
Yeah.
And that really frustrated me, because I started off going to film school because I wanted to use their kit and go out and tell stories that I wanted to tell when I was 18, 19 years old, rather than sit and listen to about the history of film and stuff. And I know that is important in its own right, but I think the best way of becoming a filmmaker is to go out and make a film, and not sitting through lectures about old films that have done really well and why they've done well and things like that. And certain ways of shooting. I think now actually go out and with a camera and learn the best ways of shooting. And be experimental with your camera angles. It doesn't just have to be this one way that the film school would tell you how to light things and how to shoot things, because I don't think that is relevant nowadays. Certainly not that. They were still getting us to shoot on 16mm film, which I think is incredibly important. I love the fact that I did have the opportunity to shoot on real film, because I certainly think that nowadays, I will never get the opportunity again. And I don't know whether I'd want to, because everything else is so much more accessible. Again, with the £25,000 budget on Wandering Rose, I couldn't have bought film for that. There's no way I could have shot on film. So that was probably the only positive, was that we did get a chance to shoot on film. But everything else, certainly my film career, I believe, started when I made my first feature. Definitely.
That's very interesting.
It's amazing how many producers, writers, directors, we've been doing this indie talk. It's amazing how many of the guys do turn around and say to us, "Just go out and do it."
Yeah. Absolutely,
yeah.
Absolutely.
And the thing is, that is the reason that people say it, is because that is it. And there is that mental thing in your head. I remember when I first put the deposit down on the accommodation in the Cairngorms. I think it was £4,000 of this money, and I was like, right, there's no turning back now. And there's a huge thing in your head that goes, why the F are you doing this? You had a comfortable job, doing a nice life. And I think that is it. It's fear for people more than anything. It's just being terrified of going, am I making the right decision? Because there's always going to be that thing in your head saying, why are you doing this? I was looking for excuses to jump out in front of buses. How can I get out of doing this to myself? Why have I put myself through this? And you've just got to, smash that out of your head and go, no, this is why I'm doing it, because I want to tell stories. I want to be a filmmaker, and I've got to give myself this opportunity. And even with Dark Beacon, again, there's always that fear of that in your head, just going, no, why are you doing this? You're an idiot. This is crazy. And you've got it. You really do. There's so many people who say I've got to do it. And again, that was the one thing that annoyed me at film school, is there was so many of my guys at film school who would talk about making film, and then they wouldn't do it. And it's like, well, mate, that's a great idea. Let's go shoot it. Oh no, well, we need to save up because we've got to shoot it on this kind of camera. We've got to do this, and there's so much camera snobbery in the world today as well, which really annoys me. With Wandering Rose, they're like, I remember going for meetings and I don't believe this cost £25,000. There's no way you shot this on an Arri or a Red camera, for this budget. And I'm like, well, actually, I didn't. I shot it on a £500 DSLR camera that I've hacked. And there is that snobbery, and film school is the best place for snobbery. And they it's that awful British mentality. You kind of love to see people fail, or you love to see people, but you can be very good at being negative to your friends and saying, oh, that's a bad idea, mate. I can't tell you how many of my good mates and family were like, you shouldn't be making this film, you should be going out getting a deposit on a house. If you're going to, you've never even made a short, why don't you just turn it into a short film first and see where it goes? And I was like, nah, do you know what? I just want to see what happens. We'll see. It's a massive risk, but if it fails, then I've at least tried, and then I'll be working for the next 50 years and trying to get a house. But at least I've given it a go, and I can never look back and say, what if?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's what I'm terrified of, is the what if. So I'll always go out and do stuff, because I don't want to look back at my life and go, I could have done something and I didn't. I think that's my biggest fear.
Wandering Rose was a big. I'm calling it Wandering Rose now. I'm not.
Yeah, well, that was it. Yeah, the sales agents called it Demon Baby. There's no demon or baby in the film.
Yeah,
the UK release is called Little Devil as well. I think it's currently on Sky Movies as Little Devil, and the artwork is this a baby's crib in a haunted house, and it's like, nah. But that frustrated me with distributors, because it's like, look, we had this amazing locations, we had these amazing stills of a girl in a hospital gown running through woodland.
Yeah.
Use that as your poster and your artwork, but sadly they decided to have ridiculous things that and that's one of the things that we get on Amazon reviews and iTunes is like, the artwork, what the hell is going on? There's no demon or baby in this film. I got an amazing review when it came out. I think it was in Italy or somewhere. It had just been released as Little Devil, and there was a tweet sent to me that said, Little Devil, if you're going to make a film called Little Devil, have a little fucking devil in your film. Corrie Greenop, I hope you die of cat AIDS.
Oh.
Greatest thing I've ever heard in my entire life. It was brilliant. So again, that's another thing, you have to have thick skin, but I think they're hilarious. I actually love reading stuff like that, because it is quite funny.
I would need to respond. I would have to.
I was tempted to. I was tempted to respond. I mean, the worst ones are when you get bad reviews on uTorrent sites. When people, it's like, dude, you've not even paid for my movie. It's like, come on, like, ridiculous.
I said that to Chris on the way down. I was telling him about the film and all that, and I says to him, on the front cover, it was like a pregnant belly with like a demon face.
Demon coming out, yeah.
And I was saying to Chris, I was like, I'm really not entirely sure what that had to do with the movie.
No, well, it doesn't. And Wandering Groves is a psychological, slow-burning horror, psychological thriller. But and to be fair to the distributors, they obviously have to see it, as a sales thing. And I can't really complain because we made a lot of money from the first film. It's been sold in 15 countries, so I can kind of see that. So I kind of think, again, with, first-time filmmakers, you have to let go a little bit of that because, these guys do know what they're doing at the end of the day. And yes, if you want to, get people ranting and saying, I hope you die of cat AIDS, be prepared for that if your film is called Demon Baby and there's no demon or baby in your film.
The thing is, Corey, people are talking about it. So that's all.
Well, that's, I always think that. I think if a film gets 50-50 reviews, then that's great. But again, if people are talking about it and people are watching it, as a filmmaker, that's all you can ask for is that people are actually watching your film. So that for me is the most important thing. And I'll die of cat AIDS later.
So that's going on the tagline of the show.
That is going on definitely the tagline.
Yeah, exactly.
So Wandering Rose has done really well. You're kicking ass with that. Yeah, you're on the promotion trail for Dark Beacon. You kind of have a sort of an idea of when it's going to be dropping. You've got trailers coming out soon. But what exactly is next for Coz Greenop? Have you got anything lined up or anything you're thinking of?
Yeah, I've got my third horror that I've just finished writing that we've again, fingers crossed, it looks like we're getting finance for and we're going to be able to shoot this year, called House Red.
Yes.
And it's essentially a modern day telling of Sweeney Todd and Barb, but instead of people being killed and turned into pies, they're being killed and put into wine barrels and being fermented and turned into this exclusive wine that wealthy people drink.
Oh, like that.
Wow.
So that's House Red. So I can't say too much on that at the moment because we are currently in talks with a studio with that amazingly. So. Hopefully in the next month we'll have more information on it. But we're looking to shoot that this summer in Italy, hopefully.
That sounds mental.
That does. You'll never drink wine again after it.
Yeah.
I like that.
Is there a crazy lady in it?
There is a lady in it. I mean, she's a bit. I mean, that's one of the twists in it at the moment, and how we're going to do it. But essentially, yes, there is. So again, this could be my Crazy Lady trilogy box set out for 2018.
Let's talk about Demon Baby or
Wandering Rose.
Where can people buy that right now?
In the UK, it's called Little Devil, and you can get it on Sky. I think it's on Sky Movies or Sky On Demand. I think it's on there. Subsequently, Amazon, iTunes, Google Play, those kind of places as well.
So basically anywhere that you can buy a movie.
So anywhere except for DVD, because in the UK, because sadly we were just under the 70-minute mark and UK DVD sales require you, certainly for HMV and supermarkets, they require it to be over, I think it's 75 minutes. It's just under that. Whereas it's been released on DVD everywhere else that it's been sold, but just not in the UK. Because I think it's 69 minutes and 58 seconds. That were ridiculously, we just missed the DVD sale mark. But anywhere else on demand, it's on demand.
And so in the UK, it's called Little Devil.
Yeah.
Is it out in America?
In America, it's out in America. Called Demon Baby. You can get it at like Walmart and Barnes and Noble, and then all the on-demand like iTunes, Amazon as well.
So everybody, go and get it.
So please buy it, please. I'd like to buy a house at some stage of my life.
We would prefer you did buy it.
But don't tell Corrie you want him to get cat AIDS.
Yeah, no, never that.
Yeah, please don't. Yeah, don't say that. I mean, come up with an original way of killing me. If you want. Just be original about it.
Don't tell the internet that.
The thing is, though, in your next movie or a movie in the future, you could very, very easily use cat AIDS as a death for someone. So
I mean, well, as soon as I saw it, I was like researching it, going, "Is this an actual thing?" And then I was like terrified of myself. I was like, "Oh my god, what? That is a horrid thing to say to somebody." So I did instantly research. I was like, "Cat AIDS." I was like, "That's really specific." Not just normal AIDS, but full blown cat AIDS. I was like, "Yeah." They've thought about this a lot, so. Yeah, nice.
What we're kind of just wrapping up now, but what we like to do on the indie talks and on our main episodes is that we have a section that we are calling the 365 picks.
Okay.
Basically, we're trying to compile a list of 365 movies that we think people should see. Not that they should see. Yes, that they should see. Not that they have to see, but that they should see. So basically, we've been asking people that are coming on the show if they have a movie they would like to add to our list. It's only about 12 strong because we keep forgetting to ask. But do you have a movie that you think people should go out there and see straight away or when they have time?
I think definitely there's one that I always recommend because it's a low-budget British horror film, and it's called The Borderland, and it's found footage, but it's absolutely terrifying. And it's it's a British film as well, but it's really, really well done. I was looking at it when I was doing research for my films, and it absolutely terrified me. It's brilliant, and it's an independent British film as well, so you've got to promote indie British.
Absolutely.
And again, there's another one who didn't mention his own film.
Yeah, I don't think anybody has, have they?
No.
I didn't know that was an option. Damn. Never mind.
No, we will add that. We have the list up on the website that I think Tom gave us Apocalypto, which was a bit left field, but
okay.
we like that one. Obviously, he doesn't care about British directors, so
he doesn't know.
He threw Mel Gibson out there. So
he's just so selfish when it comes to it's all him.
So Corey, my friend, before we wrap up here, why don't you just tell people where they can find yourself, where they can sort of find some of your movies, and then we'll sort of just finish up there, pal.
No worries. So you can find all our slate of films and links to each of our film sites at green13films.com. You can also follow me on Twitter, which I think is at Coz13 or at Coz Greenop. I can't really remember. That's terrible, isn't it?
Oh, we're the same.
Then also these for Dark Beacon, news on Dark Beacon, just check out darkbeaconmovie.com as well for release dates. We've also got the Facebook page, Dark Beacon Movie, and Instagram at Dark Beacon Movie as well.
And that is a movie that I'm going to be keeping a close eye on.
Definitely.
Because I want to see it because it sounds great.
Fantastic, thank you very much.
And I like the first one. Wandering Rose was it was a nice little surprise for me.
Oh, thank you. I really appreciate that. Thank you very much.
I'm going to download that.
Illegally on uTorrent.
Illegally,
yeah. Absolutely.
And then say something about me horribly.
No, we don't do that. We don't. Has to be really bad to get that response.
Yeah.
But Corey, this has been an absolute pleasure. We've really enjoyed speaking to you.
This has been great.
Brilliant.
It's been a good time.
Thank you very much for having me, guys. Really appreciate it.
And if you want to come on again, once you've got a release date for Dark Beacon to plug the hell out of that, we are more than happy to have you on, Corey.
I will definitely do that. That'll be great. Thank you so much.
And just keep us updated and we'll keep pimping it as well.
Thank you so much.
Astro Radio Z is a horror, cult, exploitation film podcast hosted by me, Derek Carey. I was one of those monster kids growing up. The one that used to sit in the back end of that video store and scour over every single last film cover you saw back there. From the slashers, to the monsters, to the sleazy stuff. Yeah, I was freaking obsessed. And I still am. So much so, I became a filmmaker myself. Now I bring on all my filmmaker friends, critics, musicians, and any other fans of the dark arts, which are horror, exploitation, and cult film. Are you one of these people? Then tune in and listen to my show, Astro Radio Z.
That was Corey. That was a good interview. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, I did. I really enjoyed that. I know we had some technical difficulties towards the start, as in, laptop's not working and having to resort to the iPhone of all things.
Well, your iPhone is good.
How many times have I slammed Apple and slammed iPhones? A lot, yeah. I always do it. But to be fair, we wouldn't have had that amazing interview without my iPhone.
It saved our asses a few times, the iPhone.
It has. We spoke to Ross Marquand on that iPhone.
We did.
If anything, I should be putting it on eBay.
You should be framing it.
Well, no. Let's not go that far.
Oh. Okay, eBay.
I do have an indestructible case on it. which, by the way, is not as indestructible as advertised.
You're a clumsy bastard with your phone, mind.
Tell me about it. Tell me about it. And it's got like titanium bulletproof glass on it. Not titanium, that would be stupid. But you know, it's got like bulletproof glass on it. You know, elephant glass. Or no, not
Stop
elephant
talking.
glass.
Stop talking. Stop
But
talking.
yeah, that was an amazing interview. We will be coming back with another indie talk probably in 2 weeks. Probably with somebody we haven't even booked yet, and you are going to love it.
Yes.
So would you like to say goodbye to the good people?
Goodbye, you good people.